Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to be doing one-step inequalities. Now before we actually start the one-step inequalities, what I want you guys to do is fill in these boxes with either a less than symbol, greater than symbol, or equal to symbol. Alright, they are going to pop up on the side, so make sure you answer them. Alright, you go ahead and do that right now. Alright, so hopefully you got all these done. Now you can see for number 1 we have 5 and 8. Comparing 5 and 8, we know that 5 is smaller than 8, so we're going to have to put a less than symbol there. Okay, number 2, you still have 5 and 8, but the 8 is negative. And if you have a positive and a negative number, the positive number is always going to be greater than the negative number. Now for number 3, when both of them are negative, you have to look at what is the smaller of the negatives. The smaller negative is actually bigger. You want to think about it as money. Would you rather owe me $5 or would you rather owe me $8? Okay, so I would rather owe somebody $5 because of the fact that I would be owing less money. Now that makes it bigger. So -5 is actually greater than -8. And if you looked on the number line, -5 is on the right side, -8 is on the left side. So whatever's on the right side is always going to be the bigger one. All right, now for number 4, we have 5.1 and then 5.09. Even though 9 is bigger than 1, we actually have 0.1, and 0.1 is bigger than 0.09. So just think of this as money again. So was it more to have? Would it be more money if you had $5.10? If you had $5.09, it would be more if you had $5.10. All right, now for the next one, if you find the decimal versions of these, the first one, the 2/3 right here, right, that turns into 0.6 repeating, which is smaller than 1. This one right here, the 3/2, that turns into 1.5. So 0.66 is smaller than 1.5, so this is a less than symbol. Now for the last one, if you plug this in your calculator, the 3/8, that turns into a decimal. That decimal is 0.375, which is the same as the other side, so this one would be an equal sign. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today now, again, I already said this, but now you can write it down. I can solve and graph inequality problems. Okay, now we have 4 different inequality symbols. Right, we have this one, we call this one less than. All right, we have this one, we call it greater than. All right, and if you look over here, this symbol, if you kind of squint a little bit, it kind of looks like an L. So this one goes with the less than. So this one, again, it kind of looks like an L. That's why it goes with less than. The other one doesn't look like an L, so it's greater than. So that's how I kind of help students to remember. Now the other 2 signs are very similar. They just have something called an or equal to bar. So this or equal to bar right here, this is what I'm talking about. That's the or equal to bar. All right, this is called less than or equal to, and this one is called greater than or equal to. Okay, now because these 2 do not have an or equal to bar, okay, they are not going to include the numbers. Okay, so they're not going to be included. Okay, the number that we're talking about in the problem. So for the other 2, these 2 do have or equal to bars, so these are included. So include the number. Now, including the number. Now, how do you symbolize this on the graph? Well, for the two that are don't have or equal to bars, again, they're not included. And when they're not included, we have what we call open circles. You're going to see on the next slide what I mean about that. And then for the other 2, we have what's called closed circles because they are included. All right, so now let's go ahead to the next slide. If you need to press pause to copy all this down, feel free. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start on the next slide, and you can press play anytime you need to. All right, here we go. All right, now for this right here, go ahead and put x is less than 2. Now what this actually means is the solution is all real numbers that is less than 2. All real numbers that are less than 2. Okay, how do we graph this? Well, first of all, there's a number line with no numbers. You only need one number for any number line. This one number is going to be whatever the numbers represent. Over here we have a 2, so the one number we're going to put in the number line is the 2. Okay, now there is no or equal to bar, so we are not including this number. So what we do over there is we put an open circle, okay? And then we're going to shade. Now when you shade, you want to use kind of like a test point. So what number could you put in here to make this true? Well, we can put 0, we can put -10, we can put -1,000,000, all right? And all these solutions would be where? Well, if you look at the graph, 0 would probably be right there, -10 about right there, -1,000,000 would go on forever. So anything on this side would be the solution. So that's why we shade that side. All right, now for the next one, we have x is greater than -2. This means that all real numbers that are greater than -2, okay? So again, we're going to put on the graph. We only have to put one number on the graph. That number is -2, okay? No or equal to bar, so it's going to be another open circle because we are not including -2. Now we're going to go ahead and try to figure out what we can put in here. So we can put maybe -1 would work. We can put 5, we can put 10, we can put 100. So all these numbers would work in this statement. Now where are all these numbers located on this number line? They're all located on the right side. So there's your 0, there's your -1, there's 5, there's 10, there's all these numbers on this side. So we're going to shade that way. All right, now the next one we have for you is x is less than or equal to 1. Now this means that it's all real numbers less than 1 or equal to 1 as well. So 1 is included in this case. So again, we're going to put that one number that we're dealing with, which is 1, and then we're going to put a closed circle. A closed circle is just a filled in circle, all right, because we are including. So if I said 1 is the answer, I would be saying, I would be accurate because we're including it. For this one up here, if I said -2 is an answer, I would be lying to you because it's an open circle. It's not included. When it's closed, it is included. Okay. So again, we can put some numbers in here. We can put -5, -100, -1,000,000, and all these negative numbers are on this side right here. Okay. So we're going to shade that side. All right. For this last one, we have x is greater or equal to 0. This is all real numbers that are greater than or equal to 0. Now over here, again, we're going to put that one number, which is 0. Again, we have an or equal to bar. So that means this is a closed circle. Okay. Now what numbers can I put in here? Well, what numbers are greater than 0? Any number that's positive is greater than 0. So we can put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way to infinity. Okay, and where are those numbers on this number line? They're all to the right side, so we're going to shade the right side. All right, this arrow right here represents that we go forever that way. This arrow right here represents we go forever this way. So this arrow will go all the way to negative infinity. This arrow will go all the way to positive infinity. Okay? All right, now again, if you need to press pause to catch up, feel free before we go to the next slide, because on the next slide we're going to start actually solving some inequality problems. All right, here we go. All right, for number 7, let's go ahead and write this down. X minus 8 is less than 10. Now, just think of this as being an equal sign. What would you do if it was an equal sign? If it was x minus 8 equals 10, what we need to do is get rid of this -8. How do we get rid of the -8? The opposite is adding 8. So we add 8 to both sides. These 8's cancel each other out. Negative and positive, they cancel each other out. And then we're left with x is less than, these two together get you 18. All right, now looking at this, the answer is x is less than 18. The answer is not 18. So if I said, hey, what's the answer number 7? Someone says 18, I'd say you're wrong. The answer is x is less than 18. Right? So now we're going to go ahead and graph this. When we graph this, we're going to put the 18. There's no or equal to bar, so we know that this is an open circle. Now I have to check so I can find out what side to shade. So you're going to go ahead on the side, write the word check. We're going to put, instead of x, we're going to put some test points in there. Okay? So what I'm going to put here is less than 18. This is where x was. So what number would work there? Well, there's a bunch of numbers you can use. You can use 10. Okay? 10 is less than 18. Where is 10? It's on this side. Okay? You can use 0. Okay? 0 is less than 18. Where is it? Oh, it's on this side as well. Okay? Now, when you use these, I like to use crazy numbers because then you for sure know which side to shade. I'll use numbers like negative 100 and positive 100. So over here, negative 100 is less than 18. Yes, this is true. And where is it? It's located on this side. So I'm going to shade this side. Any number in this shaded region is a solution to the inequality. All right. Number 8. Let's go ahead and write down number 8. We have negative 21 is greater or equal to x minus 6. So again, we're going to look to get x by itself. X is not by itself right now because we're subtracting 6. What's the opposite of that? Well, the opposite of that is adding 6. So we're going to go ahead and add 6 to both sides. All right, these cancel, and then we get negative 15 is greater or equal to x. Okay, again, that whole thing is the answer. Now, we got to go ahead and put that number on the number line. So here's my negative 15. This time, we have a or equal to bar. So that means I'm going to have to put a closed circle because we are including it. So if I asked you, is negative 15 a solution? You'd say yes because it's a closed circle. If I ask you for number 7, is 18 a solution? You'd say no because it's an open circle. All right, so let's go ahead and figure out what side to shade. So we're going to put negative 15 is greater than or equal to. Now again, it's best to use numbers that you are numbers that you can for sure know it's the correct answer. So let's try 100. Is negative 15 greater than 100? The answer is no. Okay, so 100 doesn't work. Let's put negative 100. Is negative 15 greater than negative 100? Absolutely. I would rather owe you 15 than owe you 100. So that means the negative 15 is actually bigger than negative 100. So let's go ahead and find out which side to shade. From here, negative 100 is on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and shade that side. All right. Okay, number 9. For number 9, we have x plus 5 is greater or equal to 6. All right, so x plus 5 is greater or equal to 6. Let's get x by itself by subtracting 5 from both sides. These cancel. That leaves us with x is greater or equal to 1. All right, so let's go ahead and put our 1, an open circle there. And then we're going to go ahead and find out what side to shade by using a test point. So we need to put a number in there. So if I put negative 100 in there, is negative 100 bigger than 1? No. So that's not going to work. Let's put 100 in there. Is 100 greater than 1? The answer is yes. Where is 100 located? Oh, it's on this side over here. So let's go ahead and shade that side. Okay? All right. Number 10, you can go ahead and do this one on your own. It's going to pop up on the side. It's x minus 11 is less than or equal to 9. Go ahead and solve it and graph it. All right, here's number 11, guys. We have 13 is greater than x plus 17. Solve it and graph it. All right, here's another one. 64 is less than or just less than x plus 64. I need you guys to graph it. I'm sorry, solve it and graph it. All right, now for number 13, what we're going to do is we're given the graph, we have to come up with the equation. So for number 13, we have 17 as our number. So we're going to put x compared to 17. Now we have to figure out what sign to put in here. Well, let's figure out what number this could be. So a number in this side right here would be like 18, 19, 20, 21 on this side. So 21 is what compared to 17? 21 is greater than 17. Now we do have an or equal to bar because of the fact that we have a closed circle. All right. Number 14, we're going to do the same thing. The number is 5, negative 5. So again, we're going to compare x to negative 5. All right. So what numbers would go in here? Well, negative 20, negative 30, negative 100. And if I had negative 100 here, negative 100 compared to negative 5 would be less than. It is no or equal to bar because of the fact that we have a open circle. Okay, go ahead and do number 15 on your own, and I will see you guys tomorrow.